Hello everyone. I'm here to introduce a set of macros which have been developed to increase the efficiency of small engineering teams around the world, and especially those who are using PDM standard. Without further ado, I will introduce the tools. Okay, so here I have an assembly of a automatic garlic peeler. And up here to the left is the macro suite, which will be installed automatically. One of the issues with PDM standard is that there is no automatic part number generation, and you want each part in the vault to be unique. So what we've developed is a automatic part number generating system and tracker. In the settings macro, you can paste your license, you can set your default export path for files, and you can specify your part prefixes and your part number. I strongly suggest that you associate a part prefix with a user. So for example, every part will have an incremental number, every part generated. However, because you have different people using the same set of macros, you want the part prefixes to be different so that each part number is different. So yeah, for example, if I set this to 20, then all new parts generated by this client will be 20. For example, if I create a new part and I click the first macro, which is rename selected, this part is now named 20-000-18158. And then I can save this part, auto garlic, done. If, for example, I wanted to duplicate a part in this assembly with a new part number, I could select it and click duplicate and insert into current assembly. So that took a while because it was a complicated part, but now you see we have a part with a new incremental name duplicated there, and that's the motor. So just delete that. You can also create a blank part into the assembly with a new name, and this is saved to the drive as well. So now we have a new part inserted in the assembly with a new name, and it's blank, or there's no 3D data. So now we've introduced the first three. The fourth macro is exporting files. For example, if I wanted to export this file, I could export it as an STL or step file, and this saves you 4 clicks every time you need to export a 3D file or a drawing. It also exports drawings as a DXF or PDF, for example. You can also export directly from the tree. Then you see these parts were exported. The fifth macro is very useful, which is the batch edit of assembly properties. So what this does is it iterates through every part and puts them in an Excel sheet, puts all the properties in an Excel sheet, which can then be edited and then reapplied to the parts. So the first two columns are read-only because these are protected, the configuration and the file name, but these are all editable properties, and it will put every property that any part has into this list. For example, if only one part has a property, that column will be there and can be edited for all parts. So if I wanted to put the component name here, and I wanted to add, let's say, manufacturer A, and I wanted to make this manufacturer B, and let's say these parts are off the shelf, so ours vendor A, vendor B, vendor A. So, and then I save this. Save. Then I hit OK. And if you watch the part tree, you see all the properties have been reapplied. Save this. If I look at the BOM, I see that the properties have been applied. So, the last macro, or second to last, is the batch export, which is extremely powerful. It will export this entire assembly, including the drawings of every part with their name and revision, and also the BOM for the top level. If it exists in a drawing with the same name as the assembly, so for example, this part number, it will look for a drawing of the same name, and it will look for a BOM inside that drawing. And then if that drawing if that BOM has a vendor and a manufacturer column, it will create shopping lists for you. And those are case sensitive. So now that we exported everything, we can go to assemblies. See, it will not overwrite each BOM, it will create a new one every time. It has the part images as well as all the properties that we were looking for. The drawings are put in the drawings folder. We only have one. Step files for each part are put here. So in the shopping lists, it will create a folder for each manufacturer with the step files and the drawings for the parts associated with that manufacturer, and as well as a list of all the parts, their quantities, their materials. Yeah, you can add other properties if you want, like surface coating, yada yada. And for the vendors, it just drops a Excel file in the shopping lists with the parts and their, you can add vendor numbers, you can add all sorts of any property that you want. It will also export those. So the final macro is the smart pack and go, which is very similar to the normal pack and go, but it will add a unique number for every part. So it's a way to completely copy this assembly with new part numbers and assembly numbers for everything inside. So for example, if I go to if I export, if I smart pack and go this assembly, it has just exported every single part for this assembly, and as well as the drawings with all the references intact, and created an exact copy with new part numbers. However, if we look at the we use the batch properties macro and look, you can see the file names are all new, but the component names are the old component names, and the part numbers, this is all the old component data. So we can just copy and paste new data. And you're done. So, feel free to go and have a look at this page. Yeah, you can take a look at how much money you might save by going this route versus using PDM Professional. I calculated that for 20 people, you save 100K over 5 years. Yeah, it can be I think that it's very useful for anyone, this set of tools. Also, get in contact if you want a custom solution, or if you find some bugs. That is always appreciated. For now, this macro pack is only available for SolidWorks 2025, but it could be adapted for any SolidWorks version. Just get into contact and we'll see what we can do. Okay, thanks for watching, and have fun.